President Joe Biden marked World AIDS Day today by unveiling a new national HIV strategy with the goal of ending the epidemic by 2030.
It's a plan to make sure that the latest advances in HIV prevention, diagnosis, and treatment are available to everyone, regardless of their age, race, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, or other factors.
Just this week, the joint United Nations program on HIV/AIDS issued a stark warning that if world leaders fail to tackle inequalities, the world could face 7.7 million AIDS deaths over the next 10 years without transformative measures to end the AIDS pandemic, and will remain trapped by the COVID crisis, being dangerously unprepared for pandemics to come. The president also touching on the issue of inequality.
It shouldn't matter where you live in the country, or how much money you make, or how you respond, or how we have to respond across the board to HIV epidemic everywhere and support all people living with HIV.
And on the issue of inequality, the group Housing Works sponsored this march that began at the Stonewall National Monument, calling for voucher increases and more supportive housing for people living with HIV and AIDS. One of those fighting that fight, Reginald Brown of the organization Vocal New York. He himself diagnosed with HIV 35 years ago. Brown saying that living with HIV successfully is about treatment, and one important treatment is housing.
Housing is the key. If you don't have housing, the last thing you're going to be thinking about is taking your medication. You don't have any place to put it, and also you're worried about where you're going to sleep. So the governor gave it to New York City, but he did not do it for New York State. So we're still in the fight that this would get passed this year with the new governor.
Vocal New York, which stands for Voices of Community Activists and Leaders, has been focused on a fight won in New York City years ago with the creation of HASA, the HIV and AIDS Services Administration, assisting in the fight for sustainable housing and rental assistance and other benefits for those in the 5 boroughs living with and getting treatment for HIV. He and others are fighting to expand it statewide.
Absolutely, because these are people's lives. Housing is a human right. It's also housing is health care, and housing is prevention.
Now, Brown says there is legislation in Albany that lawmakers can act on now called PATHs, meaning Point of Access to Housing Services, which would provide enhanced rental assistance to those living with HIV outside of the 5 boroughs. He says there's no time to waste.